You guys had a wonderful day yesterday. Tonight we're going to be doing Battlefield 5. Yesterday we played Gris, which was an emotionally, brutally beautiful game. In case you guys missed that, you probably should watch it. The game's fairly short. It's about 3 hours. $20. There's some people making an argument for, oh, it's not worth the money. It is. Time is not... Just people on Twitch are just fun to talk about sometimes. Not particularly individual people, but how people will act on Twitch. Like, there's some streamers that I've seen that will sum up how good a game is based on, like, whether or not it's worth buying based on the time-money ratio. Like, how much you're going to play the game for determines how much it's worth. And that's not true. That's just method for calculating, like, quantity and not necessarily quality, because there's no quality to time, right? Time is time. You could argue that a game that's kind of shitty you won't play for that long. However, that, of course, not determined. Some games are just shorter by nature and you only last so long. Chris last night. Yeah, and like that's the whole way that they determine how much game is worth, is based on how long you play it for, or like the time to money ratio for it. It's not. I definitely wouldn't have paid $60 for Gris. However, $20 is actually, I think, a pretty good value. It's especially for a very unique experience. It's very beautiful. The game itself, it basically it's like all the stages of grief. 5 stages of grief. I don't remember them offhand. I learned them in psychology. I related the game to depression. There were some spots in there that looked like depression, but 5 stages of grief. And if you've ever experienced that, it is a very cathartic game. It's something that I probably could play it again and just alone and just cry constantly. I was pretty close. I was very close to tearing up at the end after playing that game. That was... I'm glad I played with the cam off. That was, not all games are here just to wow you guys with amazing visuals, you know? Some are about different things, and have different reasons for existing. Not everything's a Battlefield. Very beautiful, very emotional, very powerful game. Emotionally powerful game. Lovely game. Really enjoyed it. Anyways, that's what we did last night, guys. If you didn't watch it, I'd welcome you to watch the rebroadcast. I do minimal talking during it because it was just a nice game in general. I do talk in some spots. It's not just a pure playthrough, so to speak. Still, very good game. Very great game just to play through. I watched some other people play it. Not the whole thing. I watched parts of it, which kind of spoiled bits and pieces for me. However, not that much. I didn't watch that much of the... Great. Oh well. I love these wipes, these fucking glasses wipes, because you can use them on your cell phone, and it just makes it fucking look great. Kinda, like, I have this cell phone cover. I don't have a glass cover. I know you can get glass covers and they look better, but I have this, it's like a rubber mat cover on my phone. I've had this cover on here for probably, I don't know, since I got the phone. And even though it has kind of like nudge marks on it, like if you get a fingernail and you dig it in, it I don't know what to call it, creases the rubber on it. And then you got like these little nudge marks, but you have to look for them. Otherwise, you can't see them. But otherwise, like this thing is stood up to everything because rubber's really good at avoiding scratches when you hit it. You know, it reforms after you form it. It'll reform, whereas plastic will scratch. Rubber doesn't really scratch; it just stretches and then it goes back to normal. Usually, like I said, there's a couple nudge marks here, which is basically the same thing. Love this cover. Like, it's like a glass cover is kind of has its own think the only downside maybe to this cover was I don't think it's as good as glass for electrical transmission, which is what your screen uses to determine where your finger is. I don't think it works as well as a glass screen. Oh, works pretty good. That being said, it could just be my screen in general is just old, and seems like the older your phone gets, the more wonky it gets with your finger detection when you're moving your hand around for like swipe and such. Could just be my phone though. My phone also has problems with the charging port. Apparently, it's not that common. I thought it was originally. Gorin KSA thought it was originally, but it's not. But yeah, Gris, guys, played it last night. It was a great game, very emotionally powerful, fun. Not a fun game. Interesting game to play through. Sometimes you just have to. You can't just always play Battlefield. Sometimes you have to play something different. And I enjoy all sorts of games. Not my MO, not a common game that I play through, but it was because it's kind of just like an indie sort of side game, and it's not that long either. Great game. Great game. Love it. That doesn't win like a video game award for best visuals or best creative direction, I'll be very disappointed next year. So that doesn't win creative direction. I don't know what will. It's probably as one of the best soundtracks in a game I've experienced, and one of the best art forms. I want to say art direction. I mean, basically, yeah, the art direction in the game just mixes with the music just really well. And then like the character theming in it too, just but like it just makes me want to cry thinking about it again. I can't do it, guys. Beautiful game. But that's neither here nor there, because tonight we're playing Battlefield again. We're gonna go slaughter some folks. Change of pace. So let's take a pick here at the Reddits before we engage in Battlefield Carnage. Their performance issues, yeah, they're talking about their servers having issues with slow logins. It's not just their servers. My laptop has had issues with like opening up pages. Like the page loads are slow. So maybe there's some sort of weird backbone issue happening right now. It's kind of weird how things intermingle with each other. Like when one part of the internet starts having troubles, like other parts of the internet have troubles too. First person to complete the Infinity 10-hour dab. What? There's an achievement now for dabbing for 10 hours. You know what's going on here? I don't even know where to look for the achievement if it's popping up. That's what I was looking for originally. Apparently someone streamed this. Good for them. No, it's just a cookie, but why epic? Wow. Yep. You know, the art team probably saw that and put it exactly in that spot for specifically that reason, because it's hilarious. Now my gumdrop buttons! No, the Muffin Man. Oh, by the way, they added a vehicle health bar. Something I talked about on my stream a few different times, by the way. They added a vehicle health bar to Fortnite. It wasn't in the patch notes. I'm pretty sure this wasn't in the patch notes. However, I was watching someone stream earlier tonight, and there's definitely, there's a bar for the health of the vehicle. Thanks, Donald. Thank you for Yeah, thanks, Mustard. Thanks for adding that. I should just call him Mustard from now on. Donald's too original. Gotta, just like Kaplan, you gotta call him Mustard. Thanks, Mustard. Look, Yui added a vehicle health bar. Yeah, I didn't cover this yesterday. We covered the patch notes, but I did not cover that. Added a vehicle health bar above the player sheet. They basically added everything I just talked about for vehicles from the Winter Skirmish to the game. Good for them. Good. Yeah, either that or they're I'm basically the equivalent of a multi-million-dollar video game development company board for game design, apparently. So, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Next time, you know, maybe you can employ me or something. I'd probably compete with Donald, though. Donald wouldn't like that, or Mustard wouldn't like that. Yeah, I miss this. I miss this in the patch notes. Like, literally everything we talked about with the vehicles was added to the game. This was added. Vehicle explosive damage, I think, was increased. And then takes more damage from vehicles when it flies through. Everything we talked about. Yeah, it takes 50% more damage from hitting objects. Yeah, they prevented all damage when they boosted through buildings. Damage from Stormwing exploding has been increased to 50. Like I said, this should be like 125, so it's really, really a big deal. If your plane explodes, you should get away from it. Get out of dodge sort of shit. You could even, like kind of, like, the one thing that I've noticed with Fortnite and with Epic in general is they don't like using damage fall off, which I think is actually really important. So if you have a radius, if you have a central radius for a damage explosion, the center of the damage deals 100% of the damage, and then the further away from the explosion you get, the less damage you take. And I think that's actually pretty important, not just for weapon balance, but also for incentivizing people to move, basically. So people that are actually more on top of the game, and they're actually more interactive, they're more responsive, will be rewarded by taking less damage when they're getting away from an otherwise a weapon that could potentially be really, really a big deal if it hits your location. I think that's very much something that should be not just added to the game, but something that should be in all games, depending on what weapons you have. And obviously you can have some weapons that completely buck the trend. You know, you can have your unique weapons like your AK, only you don't make your AK replace basically 3 weapon groups in your lineup. Replace the scoped assault rifle, replace SMGs, and replace assault rifles. So, you know, you balance it a little bit when you have a hybrid weapon that kind of does a little something unique, right? However, in this case, like if a Stormwing explodes, if you have a 125, if you're in the airplane and then it radiates out, you can have not only have a higher initial explosive damage, so people take more damage if they just don't move at all, but then you also can extend the radius so people will take fringe damage even if they aren't in the exact area. You can still make it so people can outrun the explosion before it explodes, right? So people can still get out of the way, depending on the weapon. But at the same time, you can make it so it's more skill-based, as people will try to run away from the weapon instead of just standing in the middle of it and basically self-immolate. But didn't cover this yesterday. I just saw it in someone else's stream. Also, pretty sure this is a 12 and this is a 14. I mentioned that yesterday. Just a weird thing you notice when you scroll down here. It's either this is a 12 and this is a 14, or this is a different font. I'm not sure. Like, a font size, or this is a different font altogether. But anyways, this Yui, added to the game. Something we talked about. Gotta stroke my E-peen so I make it big as a streamer. You know, or something. It's for the handful of people who watch me. Art of the deal. Art of the deal, art of the deal. Mimi's going on here. Is it because it's 150 and this is 100? I don't know. Moving on. I met this kid on Fortnite. We loaded in with the rest of the squad, and this kid, I guess to be about 14, begins to ask basic questions regarding how to play the game, pretending to be a new player. So as I always do with kids trying to troll me, I called him out. Let me guess, you're 14, you're the class clown, and you're trying to be funny right now. He pauses an audible giggle, can be heard through the mic, and after a minute of him continuing to try and fool me into believing his story, he gave up. Nah, bro, I'm just trolling you, but honestly, you guessed pretty close. I'm 13, and I am the class clown. So we laughed it off and proceeded to play our squad game together. He asked if I wanted to do duos with him after. We played quite a few games together, and after that I learned a lot about each other. At one point he asked me, do you think I'm funny? Yeah, of course. I don't think you'd be playing a 13-year-old if I didn't think you were funny. I don't think I'd be playing with a 13-year-old if I didn't think you're funny. He seemed to like that. Later he asked another question. Hey, did you ever, get bullied in school? Oh. Everything became clear in that instant. This kid needed someone to talk to. Yeah, this kind of already got the big brother vibe going on here. And so we did. We talked about life for his while, his school experiences, the friends who let him down, the girls he never got, and the bullies who have no regards for his feelings. He told me he has a rare condition that affects his intestines, and he's resulted in having parts of it removed. He explained that much of the bullying stems from this. Before he logged off for the night, he thanked me for listening and said he was glad he could talk to me about those things. Now, I don't know who this kid is, but never before have I been so emotionally touched by an encounter online. Fortnite brought me into this kid's life after just the right time, and I hope I made an impact, which you did. Needless to say, I'm excited to hop on tonight and play with my new friend. Thank you, Fortnite, for facilitating this. TLDR, I thought... That's too early for TLDR. I thought this kid was trolling me in squads. Actually became a heartfelt encounter. So, okay, well, I'll wait for my TLDR, but, needless to say, I'm excited to hop on tonight and play with my friend. Thank you for facilitating this. TLDR. What I thought to be another kid trolling me in squads actually became a heartfelt encounter where I learned this troublemaker was actually a kid looking for someone to care about him. Edit, well, thanks for the gold, blah, 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 dear Lord Platinum, you guys are incredible. Also, it was Hirschsprung's disease. So the thing about getting old is you just find out that shit just goes wrong. So, it's funny when you're young and you think just anything that's wrong is just like this weird thing that never happens in life. And then you get older, and then you realize fucking shit's wrong with everything, you know? It's just varying, like, your body... Your fleshy meat bag is like in a constant state of decay. Like it's just and you as a person are responsible for keeping your body together as long as humanly possible, right? Or until we can turn into cyborgs and jack into the Matrix, and then just leave your fleshy meat bag behind. But either way, like, it's kind of weird. Like you can't really tell people like when they're young that once you get old. Like my parents never really told me that. Like they never. I think it's like we're in a weird time now where it's actually becoming more common where the age gap between like someone that's really mature and older, well, relatively mature and older, you find out when you're older that people that act mature or act older generally just start like a lot of people are just kids. They never grow up. It doesn't matter how old you get; they just never made it past like high school level intelligence, or not intelligence. That's the wrong word. Emotional development. Let's go with that. Emotional development. But like when you're young, you can't just really tell someone that like when you get old, this shit just happens, right? Yeah, you get old and all of a sudden your like eyesight goes. You start having back pains when you wake up in the morning, and like you have problems passing bowels. By the way, probiotics help immensely with that. But all sorts of weird shit starts happening. Don't read into that too much. No, that's not all things that happen to me, but like just getting older, and then you can't eat as much. You have to eat healthier food. You have to work out. I work out now. It doesn't really make me look that much better, but I'm definitely sure it keeps me alive. Or keeps me alive. It's like tacking years on your life. Also why I almost always eat salads for lunch. Kind of the shitty thing, guys. So if you guys didn't know, segue here. If you guys didn't know, the romaine lettuce has been taken out by the CDC. Like they just pulled the trigger and banned all that shit. And I can't get my Southwest salad from McDonald's, and it's still going on. Like, the CDC has not lifted the romaine lettuce ban. So like, I can't get a salad from... That really hurts my heart, because I used to eat a lot of Southwest salads. I still would if they have offered them, because it's just something that's available. Good morning, Spoosher. It's something that's available. And honestly, like, the thing about fast food is it's all just really fucking bad for you, and like it's really tough to actually get something that tastes good. So when you find something that tastes good and it's fast food, that's like the holy grail, because I don't like making food. Making food takes so much time. It's not just the making of the food, it's also cleaning up afterwards, it's buying stuff, it's learning how to do stuff, and of course it's like literally someone's job. That's why like I'd rather pay someone money to make me food and I can't afford a personal chef, by the way, so that's kind of, out the window. Maybe last year I could have afforded a personal chef, and then Bitcoin crashed, and I lost all my money. Or, not all my money, but, it did a number. It did a fucking number. But, like, when you find something that's, like, fast food and, like, you can eat it, and it's not too expensive. Like, we have a Panera Bread in town, which is salads and sandwiches and soups, and they're pretty good. The salads I like. I definitely like the sandwiches, but it's like costs like if you don't get a drink, it's like $12 for fast food. That's insane. Like you can go to McDonald's though, and you can get a Southwest salad and a drink for like $6.50. That's a pretty big difference. That's like 2 days compared to 1 day as far as like how much you can eat based off of it. Like for the same amount for 1 day in Panera, I can eat 2 days in McDonald's. But anyways, there aren't many places in town that actually have, or not just in town, just in general, many fast food places that actually offer. Like Arby's offers salads, if you didn't know, which is fucking mind blowing, because they're like a meat place, right? They offer salads. However, they aren't really that good. They're just like a normal salad, but they charge you $5 for it. The McDonald's salad's actually pretty good. But anyways, I tried the Arby's salads for a bit, and they just don't do it for me. So, best salad is just basically just McDonald's. That and like Subway. I go to Subway a decent amount because just the amount of veggies you get. And of course there's the bread, and everyone talks about how horrible the bread is, but it's still better than eating, like almost anything is better than eating a burger. Like that's the baseline. Get away from the burger, and then find anything else that's not a burger, including a chicken sandwich, is better than a burger. So get the chicken instead of the burger. Get the the beef. Get the chicken instead, and then you get something else like a salad is better, even better than that. I eat a lot of Taco Bell, but like I said, Taco Bell isn't actually that terrible. It's what you get at Taco Bell that's pretty bad. Like you can, like cheese sauces are all horrible for you, and beef, you can stay away from the beef. It used to be beef used to be better for you before it was the unbeef. I don't know if you guys remember that, but beef, there was a thing for a while where Taco Bell beef was like not even considered beef because it was meat filler, which a lot of it was just oats. And the funny thing about it is, even though it wasn't true beef, it was actually better for you than real beef, because it's like oats. It was like oats and wheat and stuff, like oats and barley that they mixed in with the beef to make it like the beef filler or whatever it's called. And now it's actually beef, so it's just I keep talking about myself, Swoosher. This is basically the beginning. This is a podcast. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. But otherwise, you're welcome to stay and listen to my podcast, which I have basically every day, and I've had every day for the last 5 years. So, yeah, something that I've done every day for the last 5 years, or you can just leave, so. It is, I mean, that's the thing, KSA, is if you get a wife, that's actually, like, people will just, like, shit talk, like, homemakers or something like that, but it is actually a job. It's actually not a job that I'd want. If you think about it, because you do actually spend a decent amount of time cooking, cleaning, laundry, just house chores that can actually just make your life a lot better. And if you don't if you don't have someone to do that, then it's just not that it's all that hard or tedious work, but it's literally someone's job. So like a homemaker or like a wife that just stays at home and takes care of shit, they do all the shit that basically you don't have time for. It's actually they do use a bit of money, but at the same time you can actually think about how much a maid costs or how much you're spending on fast food or anything like that, and then you can actually see that there's actually kind of a pros and cons to actually having a wife or a homemaker guy. I guess there's stay-at-home dads now, so. But honestly, something like that, like they'd have to have like a part-time job in addition to actually being a homemaker, because you end up, from my personal experience, you end up with way too much time as a homemaker, and then you just kind of, it's no wonder that some of them kind of fall into the MILF territory and start up shenanigans, because like if you have a bunch of time just to yourself, you need something to fill the void in your life, so you need to have like a hobby like that you're actually serious about, or like a job that you can put time and effort into and actually get some sort of reward out of it. Not everyone's good at doing hobbies too, and jobs are basically like a hobby for a lot of people, even if they don't think it or see it that way. It helps keep them sane. Oh, you get so mad. Yeah, I get serious. Oh, Smoosher, don't project, dude. You're the one that wants to end up with me, and no, we won't end up together. You didn't even come to Perkins. You didn't even go to Perkins when you promised you would meet me, Smoosher. You didn't come to Perkins on your business trip, because apparently you're actually like 35, which is not true at all. But you're apparently like 35. But anyways, this post right here, we went off on a tangent here. This post right here, I was going to say that yeah, people online that troll generally need help. Like people that legitimately enjoy trolling just all the time need help, because it's not fun. It's honestly not that much fun. You get a little bit of fulfillment from trying to make someone feel worse, like Smoosher is. Try to make someone feel worse than you feel in your life. It's basically someone that has a shitty job or a shitty life, or they're depressed, someone that just has a lot of problems in life. And unfortunately, even if you see people like that and you know their game right away, you know what they're doing, and you know that they really kind of need it. Like I've mentioned the other night when we were talking, is like if you want to be a psychologist, for instance, taking on other people's burdens, it's good that this guy found like a friend in life who is a kid. It's like a big brother. It's just like a big brother thing, big brothers, big sisters, whatever it is. Basically where you essentially just act like you basically take on the role of their parents that they should have been, because not everyone has good parents. A lot of people don't have good parents. Just because you squirt out a kid doesn't mean that you're going to be a good parent, right? But anyways, this guy basically being a role model for this kid who definitely desperately needed it. And maybe it sometimes isn't even his parents. Like you can't, as someone's parents or as someone related to someone else, you can't always just go out of your way. It doesn't feel the same if you have like your mom who's like, oh, you're gonna grow up to be a handsome young man, all the girls are gonna love you, you're such a smart guy, and that's their job, right? They're trying to be a good parent, right? That's what they're doing. You kind of need this outside influence that actually acts on you, because they can't, it's their parents, it's what they do, right? They're super biased, they can't really take it for what it is. Even if they're trying to help them out, they can only do so much, and you need an outside influence. But the thing with this is, you can't always do this. Like, if you're someone, you see someone in need, you see someone helping it, you have to, at some point take care of yourself. You have to take care of their lives. And as I mentioned in my 20s, I spent so much time just dealing with other people and trying to help them, especially like love interests I had, as I mentioned the other night, that it actually just hurts your own life. It hurts your own enjoyment, and you end up just basically in a worse position than you were before. In this case, he ended up with a good friend, and good for him, and I hope they both enjoy each other's company. However, a lot of times, you just don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with someone else's problems. You don't want to take their problems onto your life, because, like, for me, for instance, I have my own shit I have to deal with. I have my own life, and, like, people that struggle with depression or something, other people struggle with depression too, It's not just them, it's everyone else, and, like, you can't always be someone else's pillar. Sometimes you have to be your own pillar, right? So, at what point is, like, do you actually, it's great if you can be a big brother, but like you have to take care of yourself too. So like even if you see people like this, and I'm very good at seeing through people. I'm pretty fucking good. That's to a fault. I'm very good at seeing through people and their bullshit. And that actually influences not only my own confidence, because I can generally tell what people are thinking, even if they aren't saying it. You can read into that all you want, but that hurts my own confidence because I'm actually very adept at noticing. Like, I'm not just empathetic, but I'm very emotionally, no, I was gonna say emotionally sensitive. That's not the right word because it means I get emotional very often, and sometimes I do, definitely. What I mean is, like, I'm good at judging other people's emotional responses and emotional intelligence. That's what I was looking for. I have extremely high emotional intelligence, and that's actually to a fault where I can generally read what other people are thinking, even online. Like I mentioned before, it's actually weird when you stream online with a webcam. Is like I used to never stream with a webcam, and I can tell you wholeheartedly, if you can turn off your webcam and stream without it, you just have a much better, you have a more fulfilling time streaming online without a webcam on, just because people are just sitting there like looking into your eyeballs, judging you, like, you know, seeing if what that they did, especially stream sniping, seeing if what they did actually got a response out of you, seeing your facial features, trying to make you angry, shit like that. Basically kids that need help, just like in this thread here. Like, they try to do all this shit because all of it is basically just a scream for attention. They need help. Even if they don't want to admit to it, they're really just looking for help. And you can't always give it to them. But unfortunately, you know, it's good that this guy found this out. This is actually this is a very heartfelt post. This is good to see stuff like this. Big brother, big sister. You know, if Epic wanted to, they could actually do. Well, I guess not, because then you'd have some sort of weird. Yeah, no, that'd turn into a liability thing. I was gonna say Epic could do like a big brother, big sister thing where you could actually mentor someone in Fortnite or in video games in general, but then you'd have some sort of liability thing with pedophiles and stuff like that. People that shouldn't be related to kids, shouldn't be around kids, stuff like that. I'm sure that would turn into a shitstorm. So, no. I'm still 13 5 years later. Oh, you're 18 now. Did you say you used to date a man? No. And it wouldn't have mattered even if I date a man. I don't find men emotionally, or not emotionally, physically attractive. I do not. Some transgender male to females are actually very attractive, but that's in the extreme minority. There's a lot of male to females that don't really. No. Even then, you're never really just female, but that's an entirely different topic. Same with female to males. At no point was I ever actually a woman. I'm a guy. I was never actually a woman, and I don't actually experience the things that women do, nor do I have the same equipment or started out with the same equipment. We've had kind of the philosophical discussion about a transgender before. Until they can erase your memories, even if they give you a perfect body, you basically experience life as the other perspective, which no one is basically pure. Yeah, I guess you could say a pure thing. No one that was basically born male or female is ever going to experience that. So, until they can erase your memories and implant new ones, in addition to giving you basically a completely physical body, it's never going to be the same. Love you too, Smoosher. I know you need it. Much like this kid in Fortnite. Cool story. Moving on. Christmas cheer right there, guys. I think I found a way to increase shop item slots. Oh yeah? This is how you have to increase shop item slots? Just making a rotating ball? Not a scroll bar? Oh, good. Found in files under name Athena Snow. It's going to be White Christmas this year, boys. Data mining. Cool. So at this point in time, I'm pretty sure Blizzard or any big company knows if they put the files in the game and they push it live, it's going to be found. So this is intentional. Like, they do stuff like this for someone to data mine it. Sometimes they mess up and they put things in the game like, we knew that there was going to be more server regions, and they just never added them to the game back in August. It was data mined in the game files where they had new regions, including new North America regions, and then they just never did it. Mustard, you really need to get on that, Mustard. I'm telling you, like, I'll actually come back to the game if you add more North America regions. That's like the very basic level, and then normalizing pings on top of that. This giant disco ball in the sky always been there. Wow. Straight out of Evangelion, guys. What's going on? Where'd my music go? I think I forgot to add vending machines to snow biome. Yes. Whoops. Just say Popo. Yeah, we did forget. We will add vending machines to snow biome and area in 7.2. Accurate. Fuck, Jim. We forgot to add vending machines to snow area. Pause while holding the candy bar in front of mouth. Huh. This is pretty accurate. Whoops. Okay. Fortnite's done. Let's take a look at the Overwatch Reddits. Rowan Reinhardt charges the nuke and open gets us killed. He was just trying to help. He was just trying to help. Don't push me, Vera. Thank you for your help. The fucking look. Look at her face. Fucking Blizzard. Blizzard is, their art team is fucking amazing. They're still fucking amazing. Stuff. Oh, there's a short on the Twitters. Almost forgot about this. Let's watch the Twitter short. Trying to one-up you, Fortnite, or Epic.
I hope Santa likes chocolate chip.
Sure he does, buddy. Now let's get you to sleep.
Oh, those are microwaved. Look like chunky or chewy Chips Ahoy that were microwaved.
Cookies.
Cookies are for Santa, love.
Santa never came to my house.
Aww.
I wonder.
Aw, Reaper Smoocher's spirit animal, guys. My childhood sucks, so I'm gonna make yours suck.
Cookies.
Hi.
chip.
Who do you think that's for?
Huh?
Now where's my hero's welcome?
Seriously?
Happy holidays
What the
from
fuck?
everyone here at Overwatch.
Aww. New shotguns?
So good.
Huh. So, we actually saw this. I showed you guys a clip of... There's a guy making this. Let's see if I can find it on Twitter. Actually posted that's stop motion, and stop motion takes a lot of fucking work because each one of those movements, basically for each frame, is basically a shot. See if I can find it. It's actually really cool. It shows him making it. He was like last week. Good stuff. Epic should do more of that. I mean, they did already this year with their advertisement. That's pretty good. And when you're a big enough company, guys, and you have enough money to throw around, you can do stuff like that. And it's really fucking cool, much like League of Legends puts out cinematic trailers on occasion that are really fucking spiffy. Epic needs to has to consider doing something like that as well. Because they have money to burn, and then it becomes it's not just about making a good game, it's about showcasing your good game to the world. Because you can actually afford to do stuff like that. You're in a position to do stuff like that. Fuck did it go? Video Game Awards. Oh, this is really old. I must have missed it. Overwatch retweeted it. It showed the guy making the stop motion. Oh, this is 16 hours ago. This is actually the clip. Oh. Apparently, Kaplan's not a big enough figure where he's going to sit in a chair for 24 hours again. Maybe someone actually tweeted it, hopefully. Go. Maybe he had to take it down because it was before they released it. Definitely Overwatch retweeted it, liked it. Where we went, guys? Huh. They had another short with him before? Yeah, they did. But can't find it. It was showing him making that footage right there. Anyways, basically your frame rate is equivalent to the amount of time you spend moving them around and taking snapshots. So a very, very time-intensive technique, I guess. Well, any sort of CG or something like that's very time-intensive, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Does make sense. Only 1,200 upvotes? Wow. There are no winners in war. Fuck. Okay. Let's look at the both Reddits. Apparently there's a new patch today. 1.1 for both. They had Blackout custom games. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes that actually relate to the base game and not to both, even though, or not both Blackout. Even though, like you, at least for me, I've always taken the new Black Ops as just like Blackout, but it's not. Private matches are now in the game. Lord sound is certain things that are really really loud in the game, like the planes. Working on their armor. Added some festive holiday stashes for weird weapons. Melee weapons. Which are basically just reskins. I don't understand why they have like two sections for the same thing. We got like Blackout here, and then they just decided to add Blackout again. It's like they forget and they add just more things to their patch notes without actually editing earlier versions of their patch notes. This reminds me of like reading someone's notes from like class in like college. Yeah, they could definitely organize this better. Like the organization for not that it's really that big of a deal, but for like Fortnite patch notes is much better, or Overwatch patch notes. Yep. Cool. Alrighty, guys. We're gonna play some. Battlefield 5. Right. One thing so like when we were playing Gris last night, which by the way is an amazing game. When we were playing Gris last night, one thing I definitely noticed is my computer definitely has issues with stuttering. Definitely has issues with stuttering, specifically in like windowed games. I don't notice as much in full screen, but windowed definitely has issues with stuttering. So. Frostpunk's updating. I don't know what they'd have to. Adding into my memory right now. There's a lot. I can't imagine. Can't imagine that there's like anything to make it that much better. Like everything was just. It wasn't that it was a bad game. It was just like the pacing was just all sorts of fucked up, and it didn't really feel like you needed to play the game more than once. They patched it. Christmas update. Despite the perpetual winter, Frostpunk couldn't be described as festive. It's kind of a shame because the game itself seemed like it was pretty cool. There were some balancing issues with the game too, and it never really like the pacing. It always felt like you're ahead of the curve, or like it didn't play out. It was normally like with a game with like a RTS game, it feels like you're constantly ramping up your technology and it's making a difference in what you do. But in Frostpunk, it didn't feel that way. It just kind of felt like there's a giant just like lull where just nothing really went on or happened, and updates you made to your city didn't really matter all that much. Okay, so not interested in playing. Still possibly interested in playing Oxy, however. At some point, we're going to do another playthrough of Oxy, because that's a great game.